So what got you into magic?
I was a shy kid, very introverted, had a lot of learning difficulties, and I was in the library, which was the last place I wanted to be for a kid who can't read. And I found a magic book that had these beautiful posters or pictures of famous magicians, one of them being Harry Houdini. And after seeing the picture, my mum, who's a school principal, thought, oh my gosh, my son's interested in a book. And she took the book home and she read the stories and the adventures of the magicians to me.
Okay.
But in the back of the book it had magic tricks. And she read the tricks to me and she taught me how to perform magic.
Okay.
So I'd never seen a magic show on stage, I'd never seen a magician on TV. I was just looking at this book, and that was my introduction to magic.
Okay.
And what really happened is I performed my first trick, which was making a coin disappear. And my father, who's an engineer, structural engineer, he said, how did you make the coin disappear? And from that moment on, magic became my passion.
Oh, cool. So is your mom like a magician herself as well?
No, she's not. She's a school principal. She's not a magician. But she was there trying to nurture or get me to read and get me involved in books. And that was how she got me involved.
Oh, that's cool. So I see you have your family as the crew and all. How is it like working with them?
Very cheap labor. No, it's very good because they understand. I've been working with my brother for 22 years. They understand my little movements, if something's going wrong on stage, if I need something. So when you work that closely with your family, it's they say not to work with family, but for me it would be the complete opposite, because everyone's really passionate about, it's not about a job, it's about getting the best result. So working with family is the best. Okay.
So, talking about Houdini and all this, what are like your idol magicians?
Harry Houdini, David Copperfield, Sigmund Roy. There's so many great magicians, but my real idols are non-magicians. Gene Kelly, Fred Astaire, Walt Disney, Bruce Lee, Arnold Schwarzenegger. They're all pioneers in the industry. Okay. So, Gene Kelly and Fred Astaire with dance and singing, Walt Disney with cartooning, Bruce Lee with martial arts. They were all pioneers.
So, talking about being the Australian magician, you mentioned that you wanted to be like a pioneer. So now what has changed in the Australian scene?
Well, before we came along, there'd never been an Australian magician with their own TV show. And there'd never been an Australian magician that had really broken through in Australia and internationally. So, yeah, we really basically were the first to do that. And it was hard because it would have been much easier if someone else had done it before me. I could have followed their blueprint. I could have said to my parents who were very strong in education, I could have said, oh, I'm going to be like so-and-so who's very successful. For example, if I was an actor, I could say to you, I'm going to be like Hugh Jackman. He's the greatest famous Australian actor. But I couldn't say that about a magician. So it was a real process and grind to get to where I am, and a real challenge. But we managed to break open the Australian market and show people how beautiful magic is when it's executed properly. It was that process of showing them, well, magic's a really great art form if it's done right. And that's what we did in Australia. And hopefully that's what we do here in Singapore, and this is what we will continue to do.
That's great. So you started off with like a bit of street magic and then now stage magic. Which do you prefer?
We do both. In the stage show, we do street magic, we do stage magic, we do escapes, we have dance, we do mentalism. We do everything because I like it all, and I like a rounded show. I think based on last night's show, it's not just big illusions, and it's not just death-defying escapes. It's like a movie where you mix. There's a few pieces that are more romantic. There's pieces that are a little bit scarier. There's pieces that are funny with a little child on stage. That makes a good show. Which ones do I prefer? All of them. You need them all. It's like having a great movie and all you've got is action. Well, you can't just have action scenes. You need to have emotional scenes so you relate to the actor, so you care about the actor. And that's what the magic show is like. You need it all or it doesn't work.
How's the thought process of creating new works?
What's the process that I go through? Well, when it comes to the escapes, I think about what's the most crazy, death-defying thing I could possibly do without literally killing myself? And then trying to work back. And with the illusions, it's just, what would I like to see if I was in the audience? I want to see someone float. I want to see someone walk through a wall. I want to see some car. You know, I just think about what I would be interested in. It might be a classic. Like in the show tonight, I saw somebody in half. I never used to do that because it was so traditional. But the problem was when I didn't do it, people would say, "You're a magician. Why didn't you saw someone in half?" I'm like, because it's so old-fashioned. So now I do a version in my show, which is very modern, with clear perspex boxes, no covers. You see her head to toe the entire time. So it's taking a classic and making it stronger or making it better, and then satisfying the audience's appetite for, oh, he's a magician, he sawed someone in half.
Okay. So for magic, anybody can do it, or do we need a special physique, nimble fingers, nimble hands?
Ah, yeah, good question. You have to be born with special powers. If you don't have the powers, you've got to go to Hogwarts and Harry Potter. No. Anyone can learn a trick. Anyone can learn to do a card trick. But very few people can do magic. There's a difference between a trick and magic. It's like a tennis player. I'm sure you can get a tennis racket and hit a tennis ball. I know I can, but I'm not very good at it.
Yeah, same.
So there's some people, we can all pick up a tennis racket, but some people who have natural ability, and they're very good at it. That's like magic. You can learn a trick, but then you can get only so good until you have a natural ability, or natural ability to pick it up. Which is, you know, having dexterity, nimble fingers. It's also about having great stage presence. It's about being able to put a show together, having a creative mind, and not everyone has that. So that's why I guess some magic shows are better than others.
So you actually, a few years down the road, you actually introduced your girlfriend to the show. So how's it like working with a love relationship on the stage?
She's not here today because she's in Australia in a musical.
Okay.
Because she's a singer and a dancer and an actor, so she's in her own another show in Australia currently, touring around the country. Okay. With that being said, it's great because it was the first time I got to share the behind the scenes magic with my partner, because usually my partners in the past haven't been in entertainment or even in media or anything like that. So to create ideas with her and illusions with her is really special. Okay. Yeah.
That's nice to be working with your loved one.
Correct. Correct.
So what's your favorite trick till today?
In the show, there's a piece called The Time Machine, where I talk about traveling through time. I get inside a little kind of box contraption, you can see through it, and we put a doorway in there, and my assistant stands in front of the doorway. I lift up my cape, drop it, and she vanishes, and then I walk towards the door. My cape hits the door, falls down, and I vanish. It's something I've been working on for 4 years, and I call it The Time Machine. We travel through time. We end the first half of the show with it. Okay. So I love that piece. What else do I love? The opening, a piece called The Crate. Can't tell you too much because then you'll know what's happening. Okay. You'll be like, oh, I know that now. It's like giving the joke away. Okay. There's a water tank escape at the end. Okay. Which is my version of a water tank escape. There's so much in the show, but they're the two pieces I would pick out. Oh, nice. And other pieces I can't tell you about because then you'll know what's happening, and then I could talk to you about it afterwards, and I'd say, you know that piece that I didn't tell you about? That's the one I like. Okay.
Let's see what is your upcoming future plans?
I've got a couple of children's books coming out. I've written 4 children's books. The first one has just come out a week ago, and they're for children who have difficulty reading. Okay. And it's an illustrated book, like a comic. It's got really good reviews in Australia at the moment, so that's going to be released here next year. We're going to be filming more TV, in particular for Asia. Okay. Specifically for Singapore. Oh. That's all I'll say about that.
Let's see more of you.
Yeah, on your TVs. So that will be happening very, very soon. Okay. And then continue to tour. I hope to come back here again after the TV shows have aired. I hope to be back and people will know me a little bit better, and it's that process of building. Okay.
So touching a little bit on the unable to read, you know. So how is the book going to be like? You were saying that it's going to be in the comic strips?
Yeah, so it's a children's illustrated book. My manager's taken the book.
Oh.
So it's for kids who have difficulty reading, and I'll just see if he's. It's not him. So it's to engage them in to get them involved in reading. The story's about a magician called Cosentino. That's me. He's a little boy, and he discovers a magic book.
Okay.
And in the magic book, he learns how to perform magic. But in his world, which we call Magic Land, magic is banished. It's not allowed. The evil king, who's a playing card, doesn't allow magic. He wants to keep it for himself. So the stories are about Cosentino running around and trying to give the magic to everybody. His best friend's a talking padlock. It's all make-believe and fantasy. And so far in Australia, it's
Making its own Harry Potter.
correct.
Okay.
That's
Cool.
where we're going, yes. And lots of pictures, really colourful, to make people get interested in reading again. And magic. Magic.
That's a nice thing to do.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you so much.